I'm serious about my cereals. What type I'm consuming, making sure I try every single one, all of it. On workout days, I eat cereals with a lot of carbs and grains because it might help me lift my 15-pound dumbbells more easily. On non-workout days, I'm eating cereals which are low carb to keep it lean. I think that's how it works. And I've tried so many grain-free cereals that I've had to throw out. No joke. My immigrant parents would not be happy to hear this, but the ingredients in them create a real hard cereal and they do not soften up. Again, I'm not kidding. I've tried letting them soak for like 20 minutes and still, it was like shoving a spoonful of rocks into my mouth. I had to toss them. My curiosity has led me away from Magic Spoon, but I'm going back because it has what I need and it tastes great. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs per serving, which are only 140 calories each. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. You can build your own box of tasty flavors. I've tried them all. Custom bundles can be built with cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. Cookies and cream and maple waffle were first introduced for a limited time, but they sold out extremely quickly, so they are back permanently in the starting lineup. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use the code NODUNKS to save $5. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode and for saving my teeth.
There was some spring cleaning in the Mellis household this weekend. First, Danielle and I lifted up our couch, did some cleaning underneath it. Danielle was stronger than me for sure this weekend. I wasn't feeling it, but we got it done. Then we threw out our kitchen sponge. Got to change that every once in a while.
Yep.
And then I got rid of some socks. God, it felt good.
Oh, yeah.
All the cheapies out. What remained? Some NBA socks, some unique ones, and a lot of Stance socks.
Woo.
For sure. Stance socks are frickin' quality. Quality designs, quality comfort, and I feel like quality when I slip them on the Tootsies. I'm going to be so happy with my decision in the coming weeks. Open up that drawer, pull out some Stance, put them on the feet. Yes! No more of those crap ones. I didn't go this far with my spring cleaning, but Stance has also expanded to the entire wardrobe. Check out Stance's super soft line of sweatpants, joggers, shirts, hoodies, hats, and more, now available in a full range of fits, prints, fabrics, and fun. Fits, prints, fabrics, and fun. That's fun
Fits,
to say.
prints,
fabrics, and fun. Fits, prints, fabrics,
Here, drop
fun.
a beat to that.
Fits, prints, fabrics, and fun.
We got the
Fits,
the prints, the fabrics, the fun.
the fits, the prints, the fabrics, the fun. Stance's philosophy is that you should never have to sacrifice your own individual style for the sake of comfort. And now, you don't have to. Whether you're relaxing around the house, working out at the gym, or running all over town, Stance delivers its signature softness and creativity in a full line of active apparel styles from toe to head. Stance has got you covered. Head on over to stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. Use promo code NODUNKS at checkout to apply and enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. Stitch different.
You asked for it, so here goes. Now watch this. Ah! I am sorry, but this is exciting. Look at this color. Oh, 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 yes. Oh, 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 yes. Oh, oh, oh my gosh, it's so great.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network, a fine network. It's Monday, March 21st. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's up, Tassie? We got our top shot hot boy, ripping them lips, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo!
The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis. And finally, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
Whoa. You all right?
Yeah, I'm getting better. Bad
you don't sound
weekend.
all right.
Yeah,
Wow,
this weekend
holy.
was bad. I had no voice yesterday, but yeah, I don't know. Screaming at my kids, I guess.
That'll do
Takes
it.
its toll.
That'll do it. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Take a second, like, subscribe, thrive. Share the show with your friends as well. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Before we get into the winners and losers of the NBA weekend, I got to know, how's the No Dunks March Madness bracket doing?
If we're trying to shoot the moon, we're doing pretty well here, Skeets.
Oh, no.
Did a quick check this morning. No Dunks coming in number 530 out of 594 entries.
Yes.
Wow. That's No, that's... Well, that's rough. Oh. But, I mean, it checks out. We don't know anything about college basketball.
Yeah, we said so.
There it is. But I can't believe there's somehow... like 64 people worse than us. Is that what you said? That's
Yeah, maybe they didn't actually complete their bracket. I
possibly.
actually couldn't see. I wasn't logged in under our account, and it only shows the top 500 in the standings. So I just had to keep scrolling. I'm like, where are we? Skeets logs us in, and we see 530 of 594. We weren't lying when we said we know nothing.
Yeah.
We know nothing. So yeah, we lost 2 of our final 4 on day 1.
Yeah.
And it's just been all downhill since then.
Hey, hold on. We did have your Michigan Wolverines in
that's
the
true.
Sweet 16,
That's
so we
true.
nailed that.
How's Gran? Is Gran still going out there?
She go!
You can't ride Gran any longer, Lee. Get off, you sicko. We got off to a rough start, like Trey said, but a lot of fun. Did you watch?
No, but I can't imagine though. I did know there were a ton of upsets and things happening though. So I imagine whoever's
Well,
at
the
the
one
top.
you wanted, St. Peter's.
Yeah.
And their funny little mustaches,
Yes.
they're still alive.
Yes.
Yeah, that was on me. I
Peacocks.
talked us out of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, though. You know, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. Whoever's leading must have less idea than us because they must have been picking like Kentucky.
I'm
to get
not so
knocked
sure
out.
about
Thinking of
that.
that.
Yeah.
Well, because Kentucky's out and is Duke out as well?
No. Duke
Just
is still
Kentucky.
alive.
Oh,
Kentucky's
anyway.
out, yeah, and then our wild Iowa State to win it all pick.
Yeah.
Iowa, excuse me.
Iowa,
Iowa
straight
State
up
is actually
Iowa.
still alive. Anyway.
All right, we've got the leader right now is the 4-1-2 kid who's got Kansas in the championship, winning the championship, and Kansas and Duke, the other final member here, still available. All 4 teams in the final 4.
that's
The
big.
4-1-2 kid is looking good.
Okay.
I watched a little of this basketball tournament over the weekend. The main thing that stuck out to me. This is the orangest basketball you have ever seen.
I saw people
It looks
saying
like it's glowing, and it was apparently on purpose. You know, like Wilson came out with some cool, fancy basketball using all of their latest basketball tech. It dribbles truer than any ball before, but also they made it extra orange so it sticks out on TV. It looks like everybody's on fire out
It
there.
has
bright.
resulted in
It's
some
very
wedges,
bright.
too.
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah, it's been wedged
2 or
hard.
3 or
Yeah.
something like that in at least the men's bracket. So, yeah, great
It
stuff.
was a good
Weird.
weekend. It was a good weekend for basketballing. The Zags were fun. Drew Timmy.
Timmy.
Some push. He looks like Scottie Barnes out there, the way he dinks and dumps. And
He's like
his
15 years older than Scottie Barnes, I think.
He's just sad if it
He's like
looks
one of
like
the
it.
rare seniors, yeah.
yeah, he's great. Yeah, he great speech afterwards. He said at halftime, he told his guys, "I don't give a flying F what happens out there. We're gonna try." Flying F. He bleeped himself.
Wow,
The guy's
that sounds
cool.
like Task Mellis, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great fight
Timmy.
against Memphis. Memphis almost beat them. That was a really good game. Zags
your
came
Penn
back.
Tigers there. Almost did it.
Yeah, rough weekend for Memphis in Atlanta anyway.
That's right.
Friday
We were
night.
down at the Fortress on
Yeah.
Friday night. And the Hawks took care of them. No Trey Young, too.
No, it was surprisingly a bit of a flat game, wasn't it, really,
Yeah.
overall? No
Yeah.
one had the Hawks blowing out the Grizzlies without Trey Young, but we did have a great moment that you guys would all appreciate here because just before tip-off, someone came running up the stairs who we both recognised, Sir Foster. So we stopped him, gave him a little, dap up, but he was in a rush.
Oh, yeah.
Taking
So
a
he
seat.
was for a Sir Foster before the game. It was an incredible
his thing.
moment. Yeah.
Lee even tried to
Get a selfie. But
Lee was like, as he was running away, can we get a photo? And he was long gone. He's like, he's already at the urinal.
Oh, I thought you were going to stop him and say, "That's what we call a Sir Foster."
Yeah, well, I mean, he was very excited. We saw Sir Foster take a Sir Foster at the Fortress.
That's pretty amazing.
That may have been the highlight of the game. It was pretty flat.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
great win for the Hawks, and they followed up with a 2-0, of course. But just it was lacking something there.
We just
Friday
kept
night.
saying, no, this is great. This is great. The Hawks up 20. You know the Grizzlies are going to make a run. Jar's going to turn it on.
true.
He had some nice moments, but none of those like classic Jar moments, unfortunately.
The most hilarious part was standing room only, of course.
Yeah.
It's the only way Lee knows how to do. And I'm there with them, having a blast, having a beer. And every time the Grizzlies would like maybe get ready to go in transition, Lee would like fumble for his phone and then try and record because he's excited Ja's going to do something, in transition. But never really happened.
No.
And if it did, you definitely missed it.
Even in the pre-game warm-ups, he threw a high up off the, to bounce it in to throw it in the reverse, and he missed it. Yeah. Tough.
That's okay.
Not your night. How was the green egg, though? You have any customers?
No, I didn't wheel the green egg down there.
Yes, I forgot about that. Okay, let's get into our actual winners and losers of the NBA weekend.
NCAA? We're going to do some
no,
You know who's a winner?
no.
I think the advertisers who put 2 ads at the top of this show, because I'm convinced they thought we were going to talk about NCAA. This week, 2 ads off the top of the show. They must think it's an NCAA show. And the people at The Athletic said, that's basketball. Throw in a couple there off the top. That's fine. They're winners. Because we talked NCAA for like 8 minutes and then a green egg.
It's true.
Integration, I don't know.
Who do you have for your big NBA of the weekend? Oh, there it is.
A perfect weekend for the Timberwolves of Minnesota. They just kept picking up half games left and right all weekend. Friday night, they didn't even play, and they improved their position. The Mavs lost to the 76ers. Nuggets lost to the Cavs. That's like hitting a good card out of the community chest when you're playing Monopoly. A bank error in the Timberwolves' favor helped them out Friday. On Saturday night. Whoa, easy guy. They helped themselves out. The Bucks came to Minnesota. No Giannis. The Bucks are trying to manage a little right knee soreness for their MVP candidate, and the Timberwolves took an advantage of that opportunity. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists for Karl Anthony Towns. 25 points, 4 assists, 3 steals for Anthony Edwards. He had 12 points in the first quarter, looked great, threw down a nice windmill dunk as well. 16 points, 9 assists for D'Angelo Russell. Meanwhile, nobody on the Bucks scored more than 15 points on the night. The Timberwolves were quicker to the ball all night. They had so many weird bounces where it almost looked like somebody was shooting an air ball. It would just tip the rim and fall right to a Timberwolf who would be able to finish at the rim. They also hit 22 of 47 from 3. It was just their night in a dominating win. 138 to 119. This game had it all. Had some drama in the first quarter. Serge Ibaka and Taurean Prince get into it. Patrick Beverley sprints over from 40 feet away and just pushes Ibaka. He ended up getting ejected, as did Ibaka. Ibaka did get ejected.
No,
George Hill got ejected. George Hill got ejected because he got in the mix as well, pushing Beverley after Beverley ran over Ibaka. I think got a technical, and maybe there was also a double foul or something like that. But I don't know. I have my problems with Patrick Beverley, but he's bringing some swag and chemistry, no doubt, to the Timberwolves, and I didn't even mind that one. It's like, if you're going to get kicked out, at least make it a cool way of getting kicked out. Also had some comedy, too. After the game, Karl Anthony Towns and Brooke Lopez took this classic jersey swap photo. But as you'll see here on YouTube, they didn't actually swap their jerseys. Apparently, Karl Towns' jersey was already going to be raffled away for charity. Sold for $8,100 for the Fast Break Foundation, which is great for them, and also just a hilarious picture. I imagine Brooke Lopez got a kick out of this. Turned out to be Minnesota's 10th win in 11 games. They're calling themselves Winnesota on Twitter.
Nice.
Not
Flip
bad.
it over. Pretty good. And it still gets better because Dallas lost to the Hornets on Saturday. The Nuggets lost to the Celtics on Sunday, which means the Timberwolves have finally clawed themselves out of the play-in into the real playoffs. Currently the 6th seed right now, tied with Denver, but they got a 2-1 tiebreaker. And just a game and a half back of Dallas for the 5th seed. Timberwolves have been playing great. They just haven't gotten many breaks with regards to the Nuggets and the Mavericks playing so well. They finally got a break this weekend, and they did a good job winning their one game that they needed to win. Everybody's a Timberwolves fan right now. I know they're going crazy in the stream team right now. I've never seen such a wolf pack.
What do you think, Lee, of Minnesota's weekend?
It was a fantastic weekend for them, and it could really get even better because 2 of their next 3 games are against the Mavericks. If they win both of those, now they've got the Suns in between that, and then they've got the Celtics, so it's a tough schedule
Very
here.
tough.
But if they can win those games against the Mavericks, then they can almost sort of get themselves out of play-in contention, which is, I think, the ultimate goal here. They don't want to have to face anyone in that play. They could still win. They should still win. They've been the best team out of
They
those.
should beat a Clippers in a one-game situation if they're 7-8.
But it's just it's an unknown thing with the Wolves because they've only been that one time with Karl Anthony Towns. So they've been playing great. The Patrick Beverley thing, I mean, he deserved to get thrown out for just being a dickhead and just, like, you didn't need to come in. And it's third man rule in hockey, isn't it? It's like there was nothing really happening in that scuffle. He comes in and pushes, and I think the refs are just like, just get out. You're just being an idiot tonight. I mean, I've talked glowingly about what Patrick Beverley brings to the team, and in this game it didn't cost them. But if he behaves like that in a playoff game, let's say it is this one and done play-in, that could cost his team because there was absolutely no reason for him to come in and escalate that to that. So, yes, Patrick Beverley, I've said before, 50% of me loves him, 50% of me can't stand him when he does these things. It didn't cost his team, but you got away with one, I think, there, because this was a very convincing performance otherwise from Minnesota.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it live, but my man Dave said, did you see what Patrick Beverley did? And I thought, considering all the stuff he's done the past week, that it must have been really bad for my man Sentence to say it that way. And then I saw it as just a gentle push. But I was as soon as he said that, I was ready to jump on the anti-Patrick Beverley bandwagon. It's a pendulum, baby. It's been swinging in the right direction. It could swing in the wrong direction. But this was whatever, defending his teammate, get tossed. That shouldn't happen in the playoffs. But yeah, this is a glowing night to drop 138 against a Bucks team. It's still a professional team without Giannis on the defensive end still. That is a lot of points. And Towns felt like he was the best player on the floor in that game. I think that was clear going back and watching this. And that's what the Wolves desperately need. They need that every single night. We talked about it at the beginning of the season, thinking back the first 40 games that this is Anthony Edwards' team. I mean, man, has that flipped. Karl Anthony Towns has shown how freaking great he is, and that's what they're going to need going into the postseason. And Dallas hasn't been playing well, so that bodes well for this week for the Wolves.
You're absolutely right, though. It feels like this is a team a lot of people are cheering for, and it's because they've had so little playoff success. I mean, making it the one time when Jimmy was there was Karl Anthony Towns, like you said. But I'm all in. I love it. I love seeing their fan base rabid, pun intended, going nuts over the Wolfpack here, and I hope they do sort of remain out of the play-in and actually in the playoffs. And I think they're going to put up one hell of a fight, whoever they play in a first-round series, be it a 3-6 matchup, even if they get up to 5 and a 4-5. It's like that's going to be, I think, will be like a 6-7 game series easily. And who knows which way it goes, the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
they're playing with some confidence. And part of that obviously comes by way of a guy like Patrick Beverley with his sort of just attitude, but then Karl Anthony Towns, like you said, hey, I might be the best player out here on any given night. Anthony Edwards plays that way as well. So, they're going to be playing with a little bit of nothing to lose attitude.
Yeah, and if you look at a team like the Warriors, Steph might not be 100% healthy. Clay is still trying to figure it out. Wiggins has been unconvincing, and even Draymond is sort of coming back. So that could be the best time to play the Warriors. And then look at the Grizzlies. As great as they've been, they haven't proven anything yet in the playoffs. So it doesn't really matter where it is for the Wolves. They're going to feel, at this point, pretty good against one of those teams. Right.
But you did say it. I think of those teams like the Mavericks and the Nuggets, even with the Wolves, Minnesota has the toughest schedule still remaining. So, I mean, they got to still win these games to get in, and those head-to-heads are obviously massive.
Huge, yeah.
Taz, who do you have for a winner of the weekend?
Well, I was in Toronto for the weekend, and I think I needed to be in Toronto on Canadian soil to really understand what Scottie Barnes is all about. We talked about on Friday the Rookie of the Year race. I proclaimed Evan Mobley the winner, and that Scottie was in the 2-3 seed with Cade Cunningham. And then Friday night against the Lakers, he had his career high where he was controlling the game a lot, coming down to the fourth quarter. In those last few minutes, he's just so good with the ball in his hands. He's got a lot of responsibility. He can either, get into the lane and dink and dump, or he's so good at driving, putting the ball way over his head and taking some hits into the body and then throwing it up. And then if he's not part of the play, of course he will be part of the play. He makes himself known on the glass. He had 17 boards in this game to go along with 6 assists. Just a great night for Scottie Barnes. Yeah, they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers. The banks are open late in Canada. LeBron with that crazy 3 there late. But yeah, he was solid in that game. So just to add that in, I still think Evan Mobley's the guy with the whole package. But going into Sunday, the Raps, they bounced back, baby. They played the Sixers on the road, and they showed why nobody really wants to play this team, because they can just get so gritty. You think Joel Embiid led offense against this team that only plays 6'9" guys would find a way to mash the Raptors. But Scottie Barnes did a very good job on James Harden. Again, coming down the stretch, had to guard James Harden. He was only 6 of 20. And then Joel Embiid was going up against Precious Achiuwa. They got that little relationship, the Nigerian-Cameroonian relationship. And Precious Achiuwa had no problem trying to guard him. Obviously, Embiid just missed some shots, but as soon as they put the ball on the floor, Nick Nurse had his guys just going at Embiid, and they're solid. They're very, very solid. 6 of 20 on defense. For Embiid on this night. So the Raptors didn't allow Embiid or Harden to score over 21. The 76ers are 8-3 with James Harden, but it doesn't feel like a very good 8-3 whatsoever. Jimmy James was passing off a lot in this game, and the Raps did a good job, including Scottie Barnes, just to get an ugly, ugly, ugly win. And you could see that going into the postseason.
Yeah,
that
felt like
again.
A postseason game. That's what you're going to see, I think, from Raptors games in the postseason.
Struggling. And Scottie Barnes came back to earth in this game. 6 of 21 on 13 points. I think he's feeling so good. He's starting to pull up a lot from three-point land, or just pull up. And off the dribble, that's not him. That's just not his game quite yet. But he's feeling good, and obviously he's going to get better come the offseason. So, the Raps, an up and down weekend, just like the Lakers, an up and down weekend. But they got to feel good. They got to feel good going into the postseason, that they know they can win with defense, and with no Fred out there. 1-1's a fine weekend.
Yeah, Scotty clanked a couple of free throws late in this one. So did Precious miss one. So the Raptors nearly blew it, even though they sort of had control there. But I think the Raptors right now are feeling pretty good. Fred, the injury is a bit of a concern because it is that knee. And again, he's played a ton of minutes, so we'll see how that sort of works out. But overall, I think a pretty good bounce back. I don't know if the Raptors just took their eye off the ball against the Lakers on Friday night, but Russell hit that big three. It was
Drake was shocked.
I mean, everyone was shocked because it was like you would
He just hit the corner. He just hit the corner of the backboard.
Yeah, you would live with that shot every single time. You say, fine, take that shot to win or to tie the game at least, and they did. So good on Russ. They celebrated. Then they lost to the Wizards the next night.
Yes, they did.
That's how it is, Some funny stuff. LeBron claiming that when he saw Scottie Barnes play in 7th grade, that he instantly knew he was going to be a star. Yeah. Very funny. Trumped by Scottie Barnes saying that he liked Kobe more than LeBron. Even though Scottie Barnes grew up in Florida, he would have been like 10 or 11 years old when LeBron won his first title with the Heat. I don't know if maybe he's more of a Orlando Magic fan growing up, but that was very funny to me. And then a nice scrap out win for the Raptors yesterday. 20 offensive rebounds against the Sixers, who obviously have a huge dude in Joel Embiid. 50 points in the paint, 18 second chance points. Like, they just out-physicaled a team that's bigger than them, so that's super impressive.
And it didn't look great when they started that game. They were down in a big hole against Philly last night, but got back into it. And Precious Achiuwa, I mean, this is the guy that some Raps fans were getting excited about when they did the sign and trade there with the Heat, and Lowry goes there, and Goran Dragic comes back. That's contract reasons. He's obviously barely even played and then was gone. But it was Precious as the piece where you're like, if you watched him on Miami, you're like, there's something here. And then he just got off to a brutal start. To start the season with Toronto. And I mean, I remember talking here going like, this guy keeps botching, like, can't catch the ball. He's like missing bunnies and
can't run and dribble.
Yeah, and he is on a tear right now. Suddenly he can't miss from 3. And then the defensive presence, like you guys were pointing out against Embiid last night, he just looks like a completely different player, I would say, over the last couple of weeks, which is a huge boon for the Raptors.
Yeah, and Nick Nurse, I think, has done a good job sort of trusting him, because early on there was a few times his decision-making was awful, and you thought, how much longer can he keep this guy out there for? So he's obviously shown some trust in him. He's worked with him, and now Precious is repaying him.
Yeah, for sure. Leigh, who do you have for a winner of the weekend?
The team that is still just continuing to roll is the Boston Celtics right now. Another fantastic week. They beat the Kings, who cares? But last night in Denver, they absolutely pounded the Nuggets. I mean, this one's over in the first half. It was an absolute bloodbath there against a team that is also struggling. And if you look at just the efficiency here of the way the Celtics played, 57% they shot from the field, 19 for 40 from threes, that's 47%, 11 for 11 from the line. I mean, there wasn't tons of free throws because this game was over. And then they just didn't turn it over 8 times in there last night. 29 assists, 38 rebounds. They just suffocated Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, and it wasn't even close. And I like the way that they defended Jokic. He had one of his worst performances because he just could never get going. And it was Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Al Horford. They all had to go at him. After the game, Grant Williams calling himself Batman because he stopped the Joker. Even his own teammates, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, weren't really feeling it. But you know what? The Celtics, though, their defense is incredible right now. But on offense, the way that that ball moves, everyone knows exactly what the play is, who's getting the shot, where it's going to, and they just look almost unguardable. The Nuggets certainly yesterday had absolutely no answer whatsoever. And it gets even better here for the Celtics because they are now two games clear of Chicago for 5th. They are tied with Philadelphia for 3rd at 3.5 games back of Miami, who's the leader, and only half a game back of the Bucks here.
Yeah, I know.
The Celtics could finish 2nd.
Yeah.
They absolutely could. They got the Thunder next, so that's
they've won something like 21 of 25 games, and like they're one of the most dominant 25 game runs of all time in terms of just point differential. Like, they're just hammering teams.
And the eye test certainly backs that up. There's no sort of lucky wins. There's no like, they're beating up on all bad teams. They're playing some good teams here and beating them. So they got the Thunder next. Then they got Utah and then Minnesota. So that's a couple of tougher games there. But after that, they've got a reasonable schedule here to close out. They do play Miami once and Milwaukee. But I can see Boston right now. They don't have any significant injuries. They're playing really, really well. I can see them slipping into 2nd in the East.
Are they a title contender, the Boston Celtics? Do they need to be included, on the short list there of teams that could actually win this whole thing? What do you think, Trey?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they play great defense, and then they got a guy in Jason Tatum who can go for 30 any night. He had 30 against the Nuggets, as did Jaylen Brown. Like, if you're able to get 30 from 2 separate players and you play defense the way the Celtics do, you're certainly a contender in my book, especially because they've got mostly solid players the entire way through. Peyton Pritchard, he's like their only small guy out there, and he's shooting the ball incredibly well right now. So, maybe come playoff time, teams get a lot more daring about like trying to have Marcus Smart beat them, trying to, target their 2 bigs lineup, like trying to put Robert Williams into stuff, maybe attacking Grant Williams just because he's a little slow of foot sometimes. So there are things that will get tougher, I think, for the Celtics in the playoffs, but I mean, they're on a roll right now. Their fans were so loud in Denver that Mike Malone said it was a Celtics home game. Nice stuff. That was loud. Like, there was some loud MVP chants for Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
And there's an MVP candidate playing for the Nuggets.
that won it last year.
That was wild, yeah.
Who's the actual MVP, at least still reigning. Anything to add to Boston here?
Well, I think the beauty of the Eastern Conference, a lot of the time we come into playoffs and say, oh, it's wide open. Like we feel like these second-tier teams, like if they're not part of the absolute top, that we still think they can get in. But when it comes down to it, they can't. But in this instance, it really feels like any of these teams can get through. And I think that includes the Boston Celtics. I think they do a good job with the bigs in the Eastern Conference that seem unstoppable, and Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. They've got that sort of defensive advantage.
Yeah.
So really, I think anybody can win a couple series and blow through it. I don't think there is, by far and away, a number 1 team in the East. The Bucks should be the favorite.
So you
the Heat
think
are right
putting,
there.
Yeah, you're putting Miami, you're putting Milwaukee. Sounds like you're probably still putting Philly, though maybe you're questioning that a little bit.
For sure.
You're obviously including Boston at this point.
It's wide open.
And then what? The Brooklyn Nets factor with Kevin Durant.
course.
And of course, Kyrie.
Yeah, and I think...
Does it stop there, or like are the Bulls in there, or the Raptors in there? Probably. I think you're starting to cut it there.
Yeah, it's probably starting to cut it there.
Yeah, so 5 teams.
Yeah. It feels like, again, any of those teams can falter, though, at the top. So why can't the Bulls get hot? The problem is you do have to get into a flow before the playoffs. I mean, it has to happen at some point, especially because your first-round matchup is kind of tough. So the Celtics, the fact that they've won 21 of 25, they got to feel good.
I got a few mini winners here. Let's get to LeBron. All right? Finally, for somebody in the stream team freaking out, when are you going to talk about LeBron? Let's talk about LeBron, okay? He passed Karl Malone. He's now number 2 on the scoring list. So he's done it. He entered Saturday night just 19 points behind Karl Malone's 36,928, which has stood as the second most in NBA history for like 2 decades.
Yeah.
But LeBron played in this game after heavy minutes, the game before. Trey, you had said, I don't think he's going to play against Washington because of the little back-to-back situation. He'll probably then play
Cleveland.
Against Cleveland tonight. And instead, nope, Saturday night, LeBron, I guess through warm-ups, felt good. And he said, let's give it a go. And easily got to the point mark in passing Karl Malone. It was funny because we had to debate what they were going to do when he did that. Now, I know it happens on the road here, but they didn't stop the game. Game continued. Then there was a foul. Satoransky. He was upset about the foul. He could have complained about that. LeBron did, and then they put it up obviously on the big screen that he's just passed Karl Malone, and nice little standing ovation. But there was no stoppage. There was no gameplay.
Yeah.
I know we were having that debate what they were actually going to do, and in the end, they really didn't do much at all. Just said, hey, way to go. Way to score a bunch of points.
Very nice that he got to celebrate with his old teammate, KCP, there.
It was beautiful.
LeBron daps up KCP after passing Karl Malone for second all-time scoring. Weird headline, but I loved watching LeBron break the record with like a flurry of scoring. You know, it wasn't just like he barely got to 20 points over the course of the game. He caught fire in the second quarter. And it was very funny to see him hitting like these massively long three-pointers when early in his career it was like, you got to give him the three. Play off him and give him the three. Not anymore. Times have changed. That was really cool.
In the past 2 weeks, LeBron has eclipsed 50 points twice. He's become the first player in NBA history to hit 10,000 points, rebounds, and assists. Nobody's hit those marks in all three. And now he's passed the mailman here. But then the funny part of all of this is the Lakers lose this game.
Yeah.
They're 11 games below 500 after losing to Washington.
I mean, they're going to still make the play-in, so that's just the way it is. LeBron, though, it's just going to be really to see how close he gets to Kareem by the end of this season. They've probably got, 11 or 12 games left, I guess. I expect he's going to play in most of those and, try to fill it up as much as he can so that next season he overtakes Kareem pretty early.
And is he going to still gun for the scoring title here?
Oh,
too,
well, of
which
course
is like
he is,
neck and neck between LeBron, Embiid, and Giannis. It's like if one guy scores one more basket, they automatically take the lead. That's how tight it is. So we'll see how he wants that.
Last day of the season, imagine we have them both go, all three of them going for like 50 to try to
awesome.
that'd be fun. Yeah,
Could be in play, but they did lose.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop Porzingis.
In the fourth.
Yeah.
They have no size, really. I mean, LeBron is their center, and it was an unfortunate fourth quarter. I will say that for them, their lack of depth really showed in this game because their starters actually played really well. Starting unit, they're +7 in the first quarter, and then in the third quarter, they also won those minutes, but their depth killed them in the fourth quarter. They were up going into the fourth, and then the backcourt of Avery Bradley and DJ Augustine and front court of Wendy Gabriel and Carmelo Anthony, along with Westbrook, couldn't find the hole, and then they got down, and then so rose-colored glasses. Their starters are playing well. Add Anthony Davis playing 40 minutes at a great level, and maybe you don't have to go to Wendy and Gabriel and friends deep down in the rotation. Yeah, they are going to need some miracles like they got Friday night to end games, to win like they did against the Raptors. But there was some good signs of the Austin Reeves, Malik Monk, Westbrook, James, and Stanley Johnson 5-man unit. There was cutting. There was baskets. They did outplay the Wizards starters when they were on the floor both times, but then the bench gave it away.
We will see when LeBron now just surpasses Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, knock on wood that he doesn't get injured here over the last stretch of this season and then early next season. But like, if he keeps up this sort of scoring pace, 25 to 29 a night, it's not going to take all that long next year.
No, it should be, I think, in the first half of next season, assuming he's healthy. So great. And
For that, they will stop the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder how far ahead he will get. He'll crack 40,
40K,
I think.
yeah. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Brian Windhorst on ESPN had a long article about LeBron is... I don't want to put words in Windhorst's mouth, but the idea that he's changing the narrative for like the greatest of all time in the sense that it's longevity, of course, coming into play, and just the accumulation and being so good for so long.
Yes.
And that's the one thing he's going to hold over, of course, MJ, if you're comparing the two. But,
I mean, to have the hype he's had coming in from high school to the NBA and then exceeded that, I think is incredible. And so
it's amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can love or hate LeBron, but for a kid to come in at 18 years of age and have basically, 19, 20 years later, still playing at an elite level and breaking records. He's got the championship. He should have had way more MVPs than he's got. I mean,
how many did you have him down for again?
I think 11. I think.
Yeah. Right, forgot.
The hardest thing I think in sport is to live up to any hype expectation. You think of how many guys have come through drafted high, and number 1, number 2, whatever, and they've fizzled out or haven't even gotten close to the expectations, and he just continues to exceed them.
The longevity argument, it ain't going to win any arguments.
No?
No, you're in a barber shop and you say, but LeBron played longer and stronger. It's not a good argument. It's not a good argument.
If
winner.
your team LeBron, it is. I mean, that's the thing. People have their
He
team
played
LeBron,
the longest.
their team MJ.
Give me Kevin Willis, baby. Listen, I'm
You
not
want Vince Carter?
No, I mean what he's doing is absolutely incredible. It's not an argument buster. The word longevity in an argument. It's not a winner for me. Obviously, he's incredible, and he's going to be the number one scorer.
Okay, what about
pretty
this?
soon.
What if his son shouldn't even be in the NBA league, but gets drafted because LeBron is basically guaranteed, I'm going to your team if you draft my son. They draft him, LeBron goes there, and then he wins a title with his son, Bronny Jr.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good. Good.
That was a hell of
Good
a
exclamation point on
Be a hell of an exclamation point for
of,
sure.
Of course.
Which team has LeBron scored the most points against?
Ooh.
Well, that's a good cue.
Got to be an Eastern.
Yeah.
Eastern Conference, for sure. I don't think you think of this as a LeBron rival at
Okay.
all.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee it is. Wow. 1,723 points. Which team has he scored the fewest points against?
Probably a West Coast
San
team.
Antonio? No? Oh.
You use your old noodle here on this one.
Is it newer?
No, it makes a lot of sense when you consider LeBron's career. Which team he would have scored the fewest points against?
Cleveland.
That's
Oh, you're right.
Cleveland.
Good call. Good
Where
call.
would be the funniest place for LeBron to break the record next year?
Wow.
Sacramento. Like just
mean-
a late one.
Yeah, sure. Yes. At least, well, I don't know. I guess they had a rivalry
The king,
back in
and the king.
Yeah,
Well, that's not bad.
That's where he scored his
and
first.
that's
Oh,
where he
yeah, so
started
that's
his
not-
career.
Yeah.
All right, I'm rooting for Sacramento now.
All right. I have a couple other mini winners
'Kay.
here. The Cavs. You know, you're talking about the Raptors trying to catch them, but the Cavs held on to the 6th seed over the weekend.
Yep.
They did a good job. 2 wins. Friday night, they beat the Nuggets in overtime. We'll get to that when I talk about Denver in a little bit when we get to losers. And then Saturday, the Cavs held on, beat that scrappy Pistons team by 4. So they're looking good that they are going to probably stay out of the play-in. I don't want to jinx it for them, but they hold the tiebreaker over the Raptors, which is huge. I mean, that means, Raps got to clear them by a game there when it comes down to it, because they beat them 3 times this season, so they have a 4th game, but it won't matter in the head-to-head tiebreaker. So just some pretty impressive victories. I thought the Friday night one, Lauri Markkanen, huge. Season high 31 for him, and then you had Garland and Mobley doing their thing. And you talked up Scottie Barnes, and him maybe like making it a little bit closer in the Rookie of the Year race.
Sure.
But Mobley had an awesome game on Friday night. Not as amazing on Saturday, but still. He's probably holding on to this thing, I think, in the end. As great as Scottie Barnes and Cade to some extent have played, I think he will, and I think the Cavs are going to hold on too. I do. Those were massive wins over the weekend.
They were. If Nikola Jokic, I wish that shot went into
at the end of regulation.
Yeah. That would have been the perfect. It was close.
It was very close to going.
Incredible. Yep. Just the classic driveway Dad Dirk Jokic shot from deep. So unfortunately, tough weekend though here for the Nuggets. But yeah, the Cavs and the Bulls now, they're in a real battle here to get to that, stay in that 6th.
Big week.
Well, my final winner is the Bulls. Just a minor one here because Patrick Williams is set to make his return tonight against the Raptors. First game since having wrist surgery in October. We haven't seen Patrick Williams in a long, long time. He's supposed to be on a minutes restriction here, so he probably will not start, be in a reserve role. But the Bulls could use anything right now. Probably a little injection of life. 3-game losing streak. They've dropped 8 of their past 10.
Yeah, it's been ugly for the Bulls. They're coming up a little bit later, but good to see Patrick Williams coming back. But a lot of expectations on a guy that's played 76 games in his career to come in and be like the only big body out on the wing, helping the defense. But any little bit of juice is going to help at this point right now. The Bulls just need something to energize them a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so those are our winners of the NBA weekend. Anyone else you want to throw in there? I know there was some love on Twitter for the Pelicans who, sure.
Up into 9th.
Exactly.
They have,
get a home court advantage
That's
there.
right.
They play those Lakers in that play-in tournament.
Oh, the Lakers love playing on the road.
Oh boy. So maybe them, but let's hear from you guys in the stream team. Other winners of the NBA weekend. Let us know in the YouTube comments or tweet at us at NoDunksInc. Take our first break. When we come back, we'll get to the losers.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about. We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? Y'all know I love a hammock, and I did get some hammock time in yesterday. But some people don't like hammocks, Lee. And sometimes a hammock isn't enough. This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. Whether it's hitting the gym, hitting the hammock, or even trying therapy, you are your greatest asset, so invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours, so give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. Right now, No Dunks listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks.
All right, it's my time to talk about Trade Coffee, and I've got a coffee bag that I just got from them right here. I'm just opening it up. This is Broad Street Coffee. I like this one so much, I ordered it again because it's so good. Fresh out of my compostable bag there that I just tossed to the side. I love that. This one from Boston. No Dunks fan actually works at this roaster. I love this freaking coffee. I find it hard to express what I like about a coffee.
Did a Beantown boy bag those beans?
He bagged these beans. Broad Street beans right here. It's Finca Buenos Aires, as it's called. But it's from El Salvador. Strange, huh? Anyway, these every single roaster that Trade Coffee works with is an independent roaster. Ethically sourced beans, shipping is free, and I love their subscription process. Again, I don't know how to express exactly what I like in a coffee, but when I know I grab a bean that I like, I reorder it. These beans are so popular in my house. My father-in-law will come over and say, "Hey, you have the good beans?" And I say, "Yes, sir. These are the good beans right here." Because I reorder them. Their subscription is no hassle. You skip shipments if you want it, change your frequency, or cancel at any time. Their deliveries are timely, baby. Roasted, delivered, fresh, right away. And for our listeners, right now, Trade Coffee is offering a total of $20 off your first 3 bags when you go to drinktrade.com/nodunks. To get started, take their quiz at drinktrade.com/nodunks and start your journey to your perfect cup. That's drinktrade.com/nodunks for $20 off your first 3 bags.
Wedding season is upon us here in the South, and Daddy needs a new suit. So good timing, Indochino. It's like you know me. It's like you really know me. Indochino makes high-quality, custom-fitted suits, shirts, and casual wear, all at a surprisingly affordable price. You can customize everything from suits and shirts to chinos and bomber jackets at prices more affordable than you might expect.
Bomber style.
Yeah, nice. A few months ago, I ordered just a classic white dress shirt. You need that in your wardrobe. From Indochino. Extremely impressed with the customization of it all. Website super easy to use. Just uploaded my hashtag skinny guy measurements. Boom, we're laughing. Every piece is made to your exact measurements, and you can customize every detail. Choose everything about your suit, including the fabric, lapel, monogram, and statement linings. Create a suit that fits you and your style perfectly. Best part, Indochino's suits start from just $429, and shirts from $79. That's all that cost me for that classic white dress shirt. So this wedding season, dress to impress on every occasion with Indochino. And you can get $50 off any purchase of $3.99 or more by using our promo code NODUNKS at Indochino.com. That's 50 FinDogs off a purchase of $3.99 or more at INDOCHINO.com. Promo code NODUNKS. Okay, we've done the winners of the NBA weekend. Let's do the losers. Tass, who do you have?
I don't want to get nasty with the referees here, but got to get a little nasty with the referees here, just a little bit. I mean, people complaining about the NCAA refs this weekend. There were some brutal ones, but the Spurs-Warriors game, it got odd. In the third quarter, the Warriors, who are fighting to try and get a flow here, they don't have Steph. And then Draymond Green was tossed, and it was an interesting one because he was angry about a call against him. Okay, got a technical for it. A little too much talking. Then they go to the other end. Wiggins gets a call. The Warriors actually get a call, but Draymond Green has not stopped talking.
Yep.
And so he goes to the referee, and it's easily visible. He was just saying, that was terrible. That was terrible. And that's all he said.
Oh.
Did he deserve it?
I mean, at a certain point, you have to stop.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
deserved it.
That's true.
100%. I mean,
Okay.
he actually gets away with so much
He does.
complaining
Yeah,
and barking.
he does.
And they go, okay, like, let Draymond go. And then eventually, you got to be like, okay, man, come on.
The funny part is, the Warriors were getting a call, and then as soon as he was tossed, that's when he really went off.
Yeah, then he went nuts. He's got a fine coming.
And then the funny part is, he goes to Steve Kerr and he tells him what he said. And then Steve Kerr's mad. He's like, "Come on, well, that's quite reasonable." To be saying to him,
on the side. He was like that meme.
so he was fine with it. Anyway, so Draymond's tossed, and they don't have Steph. They don't have Draymond at this point in the fourth quarter. The Spurs are trying to get into the play-in, though. So this is an important game. We're tied at 1:07. Time ticking down here. Jordan Poole goes for the winner, misses. Andrew Wiggins comes up with the rebound. 3 seconds left. Touch foul. It's not even a foul. He's sort of looking at the bench. I think they were thinking about calling a timeout there because the Warriors had a timeout, but the referee there, I think she may have thought that the score was different than it was. She may have thought that the Spurs were intentionally fouling because there is absolutely no way this was a foul call. So a wild one to send Andrew Wiggins to the line. He buries the first. Good for him. He's been terrible at the free throw line, 33% since the All-Star break, but he buries that first one. And then on the second one, an over-the-back call on Kevon Looney as he battles Jakob Poeltl, who comes up with the rebound. Poeltl comes up with the rebound, but the foul goes on Kevon Looney.
Yeah.
And so in that instance, Ed Malloy whistles. I think he could have even gone to the other officials after he saw that the Spurs came up with the rebound and said, you know what, we'll just say it was an inadvertent foul or an inadvertent whistle because the Spurs came up with the rebound. They called timeout immediately. Jakob Poeltl called timeout immediately, but instead they call a whistle for an over-the-back, which from his angle kind of looked like it, but a crazy call to send Jakob Poeltl, another bad free throw shooter, to the line.
His free throw technique is the old one-hander.
Yeah.
Put it there and let it go.
So a couple of bad free throw shooters here. A makeup call. Maybe they didn't feel as bad for the makeup call because it's terrible free throw shooters. Oh, they'll just miss both anyways. But he buries the first, the 49% free throw shooter does. And then the second one is a wild bounce, and it gets to Keldon Johnson of the Spurs. It's a tie game at this point. He just tosses it up, banks it home.
Yeah.
Game winner. Good night, Warriors. So a tough loss for them. They should have won it earlier. Draymond shouldn't have got tossed. But just some odd refereeing. Do you want a makeup call there? Because it definitely wasn't a foul on Wiggins. He goes to the line. And Malloy, I'm not sure if it was makeup. Again, there was a little bit of tussling going on. But how you call an over the back in a free throw line with 3 seconds left, I can't even come up with a reasonable excuse to do that.
No, that sort of stuff happens. They said Bob Fitzgerald on the call. That happens every game, every possession almost, where there is some contact. You could call it. In a game like that, it felt to me very much like we really botched the last one, so we'll give the Spurs a chance here. Poeltl might save us. He didn't because he knocked one in and then they got it on the end there. But the Draymond stuff, I thought Draymond was right in the foul was a bad call. The original call, he went straight up and there wasn't much contact there. But he just did not stop. And that's the problem.
That's when it doesn't matter what he's actually saying to the official.
Yeah.
It just, he will not stop saying it. He could just keep saying, erroneous on both accounts, erroneous. It's like, you're not swearing at the guy, but at a certain point, like, okay, come on,
because he did the big ball don't lie when Vassell missed the
airballed.
Airballed the
technical free throw.
And
that
then
was
he got
crazy.
the second tech as well, Vassell. So that's, I guess, Pop saying, listen, get back up there and face your demons. But anyway, originally I was looking at this, I'm like, all right, Draymond, sometimes when a ref makes a bad call and they get abused, they hit them with the immediate tee. He didn't do that. He sort of gave, I think, Draymond a bit of leeway, say, maybe it wasn't a great call. But then it was just like, you just can't stop talking. And then when the possession is over and it's down the other end and he's still going, at that point I'm with the ref. I'm just like, he's not going to stop, so just get out. Like, you don't want the refs to have such an influence on the game. But Draymond, surely, and Draymond's done this before, remember? It's cost the Warriors against that Hornets game, remember, when it was, I think it was last season, and it was the jump ball and it went against him, he got ejected, and he was like, I've got to be better than that. I've got to be a better leader. Yes, he does. And this was not the time for him to completely lose his mind like that. So, did he deserve it in the end? He basically forced the referee. He sort of forced the referee's hand because I've been a ref and I know what it's like.
What? Hold on. What do you mean?
Well, reffing kids, but it's like you just get to a point where you're like, okay, man, you've said your piece.
You kicked a kid out of a game?
Well, one of no,
Get him out of here.
no, but I mean, when I've like refed adults games, and there's those guys who just like something happened 10 plays ago, and they're still talking about it, and you want to just say, listen, have you seen yourself play? Really? Do you think you've got that credibility to?
This is the official that thinks he's better than the players out there.
Anyway, Draymond, it's hard to have a whole lot of sympathy for him in the end.
I guess, the silver lining of all this, we're sort of burying the refs in this one game, is if you watched any college basketball, you go, well, could be worse. Could be a hell of a lot worse. Thank God for NBA refs. But yeah, that was a rough one, that game.
It's still, roughing is still a tough job.
Oh, very.
But Eddie knows what he's doing. I don't know. I'm tired of naming refs. I didn't name.
How about a Marat Kogut?
Yeah.
That's what we call the technicals, right?
Yeah. And Natalie Sago was the one who called it on
God.
Andrew Wiggins.
You know, too.
What about this ref?
What about this ref? Oh, man.
I do.
I respected Natalie Sago by not naming her. Just wanted to name Ed Malloy, but after you gave what's his name?
Marat Kogut.
Yeah.
That was who they got. That Draymond was getting it in. I'm with you, Lee. It was like he was giving him every chance to not get kicked out of the game. He was happy to hit him with one technical. We shoot an airball free throw and call it even. But Draymond, I mean, honestly, it's a little bit Devin Vassell's fault. If he makes that free throw, Draymond doesn't get the chance to scream "ball don't lie" 100 times in his face. But Draymond can't get kicked out there. The Warriors,
I'm with you,
are in a playoff race right now for the second seed. Without Curry, they need Draymond out there to be dishing and distributing the ball and playing defense, obviously, but also shout out to Jakob Poeltl just showing up in another moment again. He's like always the supporting guy in all of these great moments this season. So weird season for him, but a nice win for the Spurs. I guess they're still in the
They're still
a little bit in the mix.
Alive. You had the Pelicans winning, but the Lakers are losing games. Yeah, they're still in there. Okay, my loser of the weekend. I'm going to go with Denver because 2 losses over the weekend to Cleveland, and you said they got hammered by Boston there. They've dropped down into the play-in tournament. I thought the game against Cleveland, where they lose in overtime, they just shot themselves in the foot. 2 minutes left in overtime. Aaron Gordon got called for just a dumb travel right under the rim, shuffling the feet a little bit. It's one of those ones where it's like you could call that a lot more than they do.
For sure.
But they called it, so it's just a bad one. Then they let Karis LeVert out-hustle them to an offensive rebound. A lot of ball watching on that one from Denver. Great rebound from Karis LeVert, but nice dish, too, to Mobley. He dunks it. Tie game at 114. 40 seconds left. You don't see this from the Joker often. He got doubled on the baseline. They sent it at a great time. It sort of confused him a little bit, the timing of it. And then he just threw the ball away. I think he thought he saw Gordon under the rim.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even
bad
close. And again, you just don't see Jokic make mistakes, that glaringly in a tight game usually. The next possession, they stop Garland at the rim. But again, they can't get the rebound. I think he actually gets it again, if I remember correctly. Kicks it out to Lauri Markkanen, who splashes the 3. I mean, the percentage that NBA players hit on an offensive rebound that leads to a 3 kicked out, it feels like it's 80%. It's like they almost never miss. So that was huge. I mean, if they could just secure that rebound, they're still in this. And then finally, Denver down 3, 10 seconds to go. Jokic gets the ball to Bones Highland. It's a nice look. He's on the wing, and he sort of just bricks it. So it's just like the Cavs fought hard. Again, great rebounding. Mobley was pretty clutch down the stretch, but some uncharacteristic. That's what I'm trying to say there. Uncharacteristic mistakes there from Denver.
Jokic looked just gassed as well. Getting beaten for those defensive rebounds, and then the sort of the sloppy couple of passes that he doesn't usually make bad decisions like that. And it was just 5 minutes too long. They just needed to win that one in regulation, the Nuggets, and they couldn't. They got very, very close here. But you just feel that the workload maybe on Jokic
catching up
a little bit. I mean, because Mobley's young legs and his athleticism really made Jokic look kind of old and slow there in that last couple of minutes.
And then there had been some optimism with the Nuggets that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. could be back in time for the playoffs, maybe down the home stretch here. But comments from Michael Malone on Friday tests suggest that they're not maybe that close. He says there's no imminent return, so okay. And then he also added, Malone did, that Murray still has some hurdles to overcome in his return from a torn ACL. I think that's looking less and less likely, especially like a Murray, that you're going to what are you going to be rushing this guy back for? He's obviously like a cornerstone to your franchise. At a certain point, you got to play the long game, I think, especially as they fall down the standings, unfortunately.
Sure. Going about it the other way, you'd think that they look at it and say, we got a shot if Jamal Murray is back. And why shouldn't they? They've got one of the best players in the world playing for them. In a Western Conference that's not, the Phoenix Suns are by far and away the number one team, but then a bunch of question marks as we've gone through. So yes, it is unfortunate, but it sure is looking that way. And Jokic was asked about it, and he says, I just go about it the way of saying to myself, he is not coming back. And that's how he feels about it. And I don't know if this news is weighing on his mind. Probably not. He's the Joker. He did GAF. But he's doing a good job of being the number one guy. Yeah, I definitely think this limits their ceiling. I don't think they can win without somebody like him, like Jamal Murray, being dynamic in the playoffs. Just hey, we need a bucket here. If you're going to get it out of the Joker's hands and double, and you're going to really rely on Monte Morris or whether it's Bryn Forbes or Austin Rivers to make some buckets, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask. So yeah, this is unfortunate news for sure, because we are getting close. We've been saying
we got 10 games.
We got 10 games.
Yeah. At some point, he needs some real time.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that even if you bring Murray back now, 10 games after missing a year is not enough time to be back in the playoffs, especially if you're expected to be the number 2 guy and a player who has raised his game in the playoffs before. I also think Will Barton is running out of steam a little bit here. He's kind of struggled the past 2 months. His percentages are going down. His scoring's going down. Everybody on the Nuggets is just a little bit overtaxed this year, Jokic included. So if he has a bad week, it's not surprising, right? Because there's a lot on his shoulders. There's a lot on Barton's shoulders. Like, he's their number 2 option. Aaron Gordon's had a nice season as well, but Barton is like their number 2 offensive option. And if that's the case, like, he should probably be a number 4 or maybe like a number 1 guy off the bench. But Nuggets are just running out of steam a little bit is what it felt like over the weekend. And that definitely hurts Jokic's MVP chances. They're not giving an MVP to a guy who finishes in 7th seed in the play-in tournament. I mean, obviously they got a chance still to get out of it. 10 games remain. We shall see. But that was a little bit of a strike against them, no doubt, this weekend.
Yeah, it's funny. They're 12 games above 500, but similar records to the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid and his MVP candidacy. But yeah, it's an eyesore. You look at the standings, because voters will look at the standings, and it's a mental knock. We look at the standings all year long, and even if their records are close, it's terrible, and it's terrible for the Nuggets' playoff chances because we were hanging on. And Shams Charania, in his Inside Pass article for The Athletic, also confirms a couple guys that aren't going to be back. Zion Williamson not expected to return to play this season, as we've sort of talked about, but they're finally at least saying that type of thing. Before it was, we'll see. But now Shams reporting not expected to return to play, although he's making progress towards getting on the court, and Damian Lillard will miss the remainder of the season as we expected.
Lock that in. I've got another loser of the weekend, Mr. Temperpoy, Julius Randle.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the running, at least, on Friday's Drop podcast. The Knicks, they blew an opportunity to at least make like the final couple weeks a little more interesting in terms of their chances getting into the play-in, but they lost on Sunday to the Jazz, and Randle finished 6 of 21 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 13 points, and then in the final couple seconds got into a little skirmish there with Rudy Gobert, and he just had a bad stretch. I mean, he missed a bunny. He blew an easy layup when they were like down 6 with a couple minutes to go. Then he lost the ball in traffic, and the Boo Birds were out in the Garden. This guy just like looks so ready for this season to be over, and just forget about this one, bury this one, because it's been a rough year for him.
Even Mike Breen on the call was exasperated, I would say, with a few Knicks plays in that fourth quarter, because they got it to within 4 and they had the ball. They had a chance to make it a 1-possession game there, and I can't remember exactly what that play was. I think it was just a turnover, and Breen was just like, another bad possession, like just that, like he's seen enough. But he needs the Knicks season to he needs to get to the playoffs. So
they're done. I mean, I think we were calling that a couple of weeks ago that their chances were pretty slim, but now I think they're. And not that the Hawks are like really like cementing their spot in the play-in.
5 games out though. It's hard to imagine the Knicks stringing together enough wins to make up 5 games over the course of 10 games. At the end of this, they were saying Rudy Gobert, he's being nice. He's being nice to Julius Randle, putting his arm around him, trying to be like, hey, it's all right, man. We're having a good game. Come on. Rudy Gobert's got to be talking trash there at that point. Like, you guys blew it.
Yeah. I mean, Randall had comments after the game, like he wasn't upset with Gobert either.
Yeah.
He's obviously frustrated.
Sure.
I think it's a big part of it. We'll slip him in there. Trey, who do you have for a loser of the weekend?
Much like the Nuggets had a tough weekend, as did the Dallas Mavericks. They'd won 8 of 10 after the All-Star break, and they finally had a bad weekend. They got the full brunt of the Sixers on Friday night. Joel Embiid scored 21 in the first half, finished with 32, 8 boards, 4 assists, 5 steals. Harden was good, 24 points, 12 assists. He scored or assisted on 15 straight points in the fourth quarter. Philly hit 16 threes. 6 of their players hit 2 or more. Great stuff, and they did a good job on Doncic as well. Doncic had just 17 points on 5 of 20 shooting, 2 of 10 from 3 in the loss on Friday. Also had 6 turnovers because Philly went to zone defense, and it really took the Mavericks out of their usual rhythm. They followed that up, the Mavs did, with a loss in Charlotte on Saturday. Mavs have been really good defensively lately, but the Hornets hung 129 points on them, 23s for Charlotte. 7 players in double digits, including a season-high 21 from 3J Washington. That's what Eric Collins was calling him. Nice, I love it. Oh, a sick Jason Williams pass from LaMelo in this one. The no-look in the lane, a legitimate no-look. And guess what? I fooled you. This is actually a stealth winner for the Hornets.
Yeah.
4 straight wins for Charlotte. Half game ahead of the Hawks right now for 9th in the East. Over the weekend, you saw a lot of tweets about them being the perfect 500 team because before this win against the Mavericks, they were 35-35, 17-17 at home, 18-18 on the road, 22-22 against the East, 13-13 against the West. Wow. Obviously, that's a little bit up right now, but a bummer end to the road trip for the Mavericks. They started 3-0. They lost their last 2. Now they got to play the Wolves tonight. This is a huge game, and it's the Tas Melis trap game. You're coming home after a long road trip. This could be an opportunity for the Wolves to steal one here tonight. Utah also won both their games over the weekend, so they moved ahead of the Mavericks as well. Not great for Dallas.
Yeah, just with Charlotte for 1 sec here too, as it stands right now, they would play Atlanta, but they would have home court. And we saw just last week how critical that could be to the tie here to have home court. So they're only a game up on the Hawks, but it could be huge. So Charlotte have just sort of strung it together when things looked like they were really falling apart. Offensively, we know they can go out and get it, but can they stop anyone?
Yeah, I just can't get too excited about any of the 9 and 10 teams in either conference. Like I said, like the Pelicans you could have as a win of the weekend. It's like, that's great. They're going to be in. They might have home court advantage in the first game. Then they got to win another one. It's like, and then what are they going to do once they're in there? Like, any of these teams are going to get their asses handed to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, again,
outside of the Nets, of course.
Yeah, if it's the Raptors, you would obviously take them over Brooklyn if you can, which is probably going to happen. If Brooklyn's in, I think most of us are going to take Brooklyn to win that one game against who they have. So
you're saying, the winner of the Hornets Hawks is going to play right now would be the Raptors.
Yeah, in Toronto.
Okay.
So that's a better option than going to Brooklyn to try.
Yeah, but then my point is they get in,
and then
what
they
are they
get
doing?
smoked.
They're not. Because I don't have no faith in a lot.
No,
of these
I don't either.
Hawks and the Hornets.
But the Hornets just have to have something beyond the end of the regular season.
That's fair. You get LaMelo some reps.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who do you have for loser of the weekend? Do we need earmuffs this guy?
Well, look, usually if you do something on a Friday night, you can get away with it. Because it's feels like it's forever ago. But the Bulls.
Oh, I thought you meant with your wife.
Yeah, this guy I was like, dude, you had 2 Stellas down at the Fortress.
They're big Stellas too, aren't they? Anyway, the Bulls finished.
Lee just put up his hands like it's like a small bonsai tree or something.
Massive. It's the opposite of what Giannis had with the
tall boy.
The Coors Light. We were the opposite. Where it looked like we were the biggest thing. Anyway,
I needed to help Lee hold his beer for him.
Bulls. Look, the Bulls got smoked on Friday night in Phoenix, and that wrapped up a little 3-game mini road trip. Lost to Sacramento, Utah, and Phoenix. In those last 2 games, they really let go of the rope, giving up 125 and 129 there. And now, it's really interesting because the Bulls got the Raptors night, massive game there. Woo-hoo. And then they got 5 on the road again. And it's not easy. You got Milwaukee, 1. The Pelicans, tough team to sort of figure out right now. Cavs, and then they got the Knicks and the Wizards. So a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But for Chicago right now, they just need to string wins together and sort of get that confidence again, because they could find themselves into the play-in tournament as well. If the Raptors go on a
that's
streak,
wild.
If the Raptors and the Cavs both kind of have a good end to the season here, Chicago could find themselves in the play-in. So it's been a really rough patch here since the All-Star break for Chicago, and I know that they've had, they've still got Lonzo Ball still out, Patrick Williams is back, Caruso is back, but it's tough to see them right now being better than some of those teams. So we'll see how it plans out. Tonight is just huge against Toronto. They've got to win that game, because if they lose it and the Raptors beat them, then there'll be, I think, a tie. I've got the standings here. Let me just check.
Almost a tie.
It's about half a game back.
Half
a game ahead, sorry. But with that schedule from the rest of the way out here for Chicago, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Anything to note there, noted Bulls fan?
Well, the Bulls were in first place 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
That's how recently they
That's
were good, and
crazy.
they're in danger of going into the play-in tournament. But honestly, Lee, when I saw you put the Bulls in as loser of the weekend, I thought you meant Red Bull for the way they blew it.
Way to take it to the track.
Oh! That being said, it is good that Patrick Williams is coming back. He looks incredibly skinny in this video that they showed of him. I don't know why, so maybe he's going to be a little quicker out there. The bad news, though, is that Lonzo Ball, apparently his knee has not responded to the rehab,
Yep.
so he's still out. They need his three-point shooting. The Bulls need a counterpunch. Like, teams have really figured him out at this point. DeRozan said, I'm seeing the most double teams I've ever seen in my career. Teams are doing anything to say somebody else beat us. Levine has it some nights he doesn't have it. He's playing through an injury right now. But the problem, I hate to say it, my guy Vucci, he's got to be able to punish. You know, if you're double teaming DeRozan and then you're trying to double team Levine, there's not that many players left. It's got to be Vooch who is showing up here, but he did not, especially against the Suns. DeAndre Ayton had 20 points, 8 of 11 shooting, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 5 of 6 in the lane. He dominated inside. So yeah, the Bulls have looked pretty bad basically since the All-Star break. You say string some wins together. I would like them to string a win together.
Yeah.
That is
Starting
amazing.
tonight.
3 weeks ago, they were the
3
number
weeks
one team.
ago.
And now, I mean, it is possible that they could not even make the playoffs. Like, worst case scenario, they fall into the play-in. You play the Nets, you lose that game, and then, you know, you get unfortunate. A one game, anything happens type of thing. That would just be insane. Like, you know, in a month span, or a little bit more than a month span, to go from first in your conference to not even making the playoffs. And I don't think that's going to happen, but I guess it's in play.
I also didn't think that we'd be very excited for random NBA games on a Monday, you know, weeks before the season was done. I thought this was sort of the dead part of the season.
Right.
NCAA is on, but I'm pumped for Raptors, Bulls.
Yep.
Pumped for Wolves and the Mavs.
Yep.
I mean, Mike up. Patrick Beverly versus Luka Doncic, the real temper boy. How much is he going to be talking to Patrick Beverly and
Did
the
you
refs
hear the story
tonight?
about him? On the day we were talking about Luka as Mr. Temper Boy because he leads the league in texts, he's got this whole thing now. He just sings to himself instead of complaining with the referees. That's like going to be a strategy, I guess.
Well, Dirk, I was going to say that's a classic Dirk move, but Dirk used to sing going to the free throw line,
yeah.
right? So maybe you got some advice from Dirk, former Mav. Just sing it.
sing it.
The Red Bull was great. Even I got into the F1 on the weekend. Sports are just good right now.
You watching the race
Sports
this
are good.
weekend?
I like sports.
Nah, I wasn't watching the race. Nah.
Man,
I thought you
you've
liked
tricked
sports.
everybody. You think you say you like all the sports, and then you don't even watch half the sports.
Bahrain? Nah, get off
Oh,
here.
Jesus.
Get me to
Oh, you weren't watching because of the track.
That's right.
Oh,
Get to Albert Park. Then that's when I jump in. Yeah,
Okay.
third race of the season, I think.
okay, great.
Yeah.
I assume that's the one in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, that's right, yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, let's hear from everybody else out there. Your losers of the NBA weekend or losers from the start of the F1 season. Let us know. McLaren, rough start for those guys.
Tough one for Danny Rick.
Yeah, I guess for Mercedes engines or whatever.
Oh, the power units.
Yeah.
They were looking pretty poor down there, but I was happy to see my guy Lewis somehow end up getting a podium.
Yeah.
That was lucky.
Yeah. No breaks coming up. What, tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern.
There you go. If you're a fan of the F1, check out No Breaks with Trey and Graydon Gordian breaking down that race and looking ahead to the rest of the season. All right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, Lee will have Tweet of the Night.
Guys, figuring out what's for dinner is way too stressful. Here's how it goes around here. Hey, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? I'll eat anything.
Oh, that's the worst one to hear for sure. I'll eat anything.
Then I say, okay, how about hot dogs? We had hot dogs for lunch, remember? Well, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm in the mood for hot dogs. What is it with you and hot dogs? And around we go. I'm over it. Thank goodness for Green Chef. What? You thought I was going to say HelloFresh, didn't you? Green Chef, the sexy new meal kit in town. Just kidding. Green Chef is now owned by HelloFresh, so the second smartest acquisition this year after the New York Times took on the Athletic. Now I take the New York Times seriously. You know, they were fine before, but now they're a force to be reckoned with. So what do you get with Green Chef and HelloFresh? A wider selection of meal plans to choose from. There's something for literally everyone. I cannot speak today. Green Chef is America's #1 meal kit for eating well with dinners that work for you, not the other way around. Green Chef's options for every lifestyle include keto and paleo, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, that intrigues me, and gluten-free. The meals are legit good. Last week I should say, we had the mozzarella stuffed pork meatloaves.
Oh, yeah.
Those are good.
I had that.
And the teriyaki turkey rice bowls. Man, bangers, both of them. And super easy to make. All the ingredients are pre-portioned, so not only does it simplify the process, you'll actually reduce your food waste by at least 25% compared to grocery shopping. So go to greenchef.com/NoDunks130, NoDunks130, and use code NoDunks130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. That's crazy.
Whoa.
That's greenchef.com/NoDunks130 and use code NoDunks130 to get $130 off plus free shipping.
Thanks to Edmonds for sponsoring today's show. Where are my petrol heads at?
Right here.
They're right here, aren't they?
That's right.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah, vroom vroom. Now, yeah, let's talk about cars,
Let's
man.
lift the hood up. Let's go. What do you got under there?
Well, car shopping is not a fun experience. Can you imagine what it must be like to be Lewis Hamilton going car shopping? Imagine he turns up on in your lot. What are you looking for? The second-hander from 2018? Probably not.
Right.
Lewis has probably got a pretty decent garage. But last time I brought a car, about 3 years ago, I wanted an electric one. Eventually got it, right? But the sales experience, not fun. I went into the lot. We started talking electric cars. I took one out for a spin. I liked it. I said, let's go into the office. Let's talk some numbers here.
All right.
We go in there. We start talking. And then the sales rep gets a little fat, PHAT. He starts thinking, I've got this guy already. So he strives for the upsell.
Oh.
I'm like, come on, man. No, a deal's a deal, a seal's a seal. Come on, man. We're talking about the electric out there.
Yeah.
Guy just wanted to then go, no, you want this one. It's a little bit more expensive. You can get a bit bigger, better for the family. I'm just like, no, we had the deal.
An upsell on a different car?
Yeah.
That's a weird move.
Because I think I probably was like, he got me early on the sale and he thought, oh, well, this guy's got money to spend.
Or maybe a podcast listener heard about the time you bought the green egg.
Yeah, well, that's right.
This guy loves an upsell.
That's right. I am probably upsellable. So the guy went for it. But when it comes to a car,
Smell it on you.
I'm just like, no, this is what I want.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so the whole thing being, buying a car is just not fun. Edmonds goes the extra mile to make car buying easier by providing shoppers with honest car reviews, video test drives, online shopping tools, and the latest consumer advice. Edmonds to find a vehicle that suits your need at a price you can afford. Okay? So they're looking out for you. The Edmonds homepage has car rankings compiled by their review editors. From there, shoppers can pick top-ranked vehicles and do a side-by-side comparison by clicking on the compare box. A bit like NBA.com stats, same thing. You can compare players, you can compare cars.
Yeah.
It's a good it's a good tool to use on a website. Edmonds has free online tools to help you compare vehicles, dealer quotes, figure out your budget and financing, and get appraisal for your trade-in. Car shopping can be overwhelming. Edmonds is here to help. Visit edmonds.com and click on Edmonds Best Car Rankings to research and compare vehicles. That's edmunds.com. Edmonds. We drive it like it is.
Yeah. Vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow. Twitter.
What's with you always having Mondays tweet of the night? Switch it up.
Okay, we can switch it up. It just the rotation just works like that sometimes. You know, sometimes a guy's away or whatever. Someone says, "Hey, can you take tweet?" Whatever. So I'm just in the Monday routine, but I can switch it up. We can trade. So I've got a good one, I think, because it's kind of it's a tweet of the night, but it's also a fan sign, and you'll never guess who it was from.
Michael.
No woobly balls, no.
Cereal sign
the
sender.
Cereal sign sender in a self-defeating down and whammy. Now look at the drip he's got going on here.
Yep.
He's got a sign. He's got the No Dunks Classic Factory throwback T-shirt there, and he's got a sign that says, "This was a real game of basketball."
8 by 11 piece of
we're
paper.
not calling this a sign. That's a piece of paper.
That's a classic Michael sign, though. That's the way he
No,
used it.
he's done real signs.
Piece of nice Bristol
Marker
board.
on board. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a sign. And
This was a sign.
This was a fan sign, and he wrote on there though. if you see there, you wrote on there, see, many NBA arenas banned signs when there was a hubbub
there you go.
about Hong Kong.
Oh.
One in particular has kept signs out, but enforcement has been inconsistent. That explains this poor effort. It was a test. So
Oh, I see what's going on
Yeah.
here. Okay. So no, sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
It makes more sense why you're not bringing your
sign.
giant signs anymore. But he's going to get back to the giant signs, I think.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
This was
he
surreal.
smuggled a sign in there and got away with it. And, great.
That is such actually a funny sign to have at a basketball game. This was a real game of basketball. Like if you made that big and just held it up, I mean, you're getting on the broadcast.
People start going, that is a real game of basketball.
That's good. That's good. All right. Nice to have him back in our lives.
Yes,
And the shirt.
yes.
That shirt's popping.
Exactly.
I saw a bunch of people tagging us on Instagram this weekend, getting their No Dunks
The jersey.
Cavs jerseys. People rocking them at the
They look
beach.
nice,
Yeah.
man.
They look great.
Yeah, I'm starting to think about wearing one to pickup. Like, would it be weird to wear your own basketball jersey
Do
to a
it.
pickup game?
I think pickup's
They
fine.
look sweet though.
Yeah.
Like some of those beach shots, real nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd seen a Classic Factory shirt in action yet.
In the
I'd
wild?
like to see it. Yeah, in the wild.
Well, go to nodunks.com. That one you definitely can still buy. It
I
wasn't
think
a
that's up.
limited run, that one. So if you want to,
I heard there may be more jerseys dropping in the future. Oh, sorry, I'm leaking alpha here.
Okay, let's get to pick 'em results from Friday night. It was the Mavericks-Sixers game. Philly was favorites in this one. Brought to you by BetMGM, of course, this line. And, Philly took care of business. They covered. Yeah, handily in the end. They covered that, really 2.5 point line. So that's a win for me. That's a win for Trey. And we're both 7-7. Tass took the L. He's 8-6. He was within striking distance. And Leigh, unfortunately, you're coming up in last right now. You're 5-9 as we start to get closer to the end of March. So you got some work to do here,
Yeah.
Ellis. But what's tonight's game there, Tass?
Well, we got the Raptors and Bulls on the board. You know that's a lock.
Oh boy.
What I was surprised by is that I'm the only one on the Raptors. A
Wow.
4.5 point dog in Chicago. The three of you guys believe that the Bulls are going to win by 5 or more. What's up with that there,
Well,
Skeets?
they played last night, not yesterday. The rare
Yeah.
Sunday night
East
game?
Coast game.
East Coast, yeah. Strange.
8:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
Come on, Philadelphia.
So I'm a little worried about the back-to-back situation here
Gotcha.
for the Raps, and the Bulls desperately need one. You know, you get a little boost there, Patrick Williams. Doesn't feel good always picking against my Raps, but I thought the line was a little strange, so that's why I'm going Chicago. Yeah,
I'm happy to take those 4 points.
you got something
Yeah,
to play
a
with
little
there.
big line. I was a little surprised to see
Yeah.
the Bulls getting that many points,
Yeah.
considering
Yeah.
how poorly they've played recently.
Yeah, Bulls, they're coming back from a road trip, but they've had 2 good days off.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Good. You know they're good
They've been really
days.
relaxed.
You know what the
They are.
weather's
They're-
been like in
but
Chicago?
They're like, all right, we got time here to prepare. Anyway, who knows?
All right,
We'll
so
see.
3 of us taking Chicago. They got to win by 5 or more, and yeah, Tass, the only one taking the Raps to cover there. So good luck, everybody. Let's call it there. Fun show. Hopefully a classic. You tell us. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us across all the social media channels: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at NoDunks Inc. That's INC at the end. And get yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. $1 a month for up to 6 months for new subscribers. And if you go to that website, theathletic.com/nodunks, they'll know that we sent you, which is always nice. So take advantage of that. We'll be back tomorrow here in the Classic Factory, 10 a.m. Eastern live. Talk about tonight's big games, as Tass talked about. Some juicy ones there, including that Raptors-Bulls game. And then no breaks later in the day on Tuesday. So lots coming here from the Classic Factory. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Elton John is finally retiring. Is that right, Leigh?
Yes.
You're wearing the farewell Yellow Brick Road shirt from
Yes.
his final tour, right?
His final tour from 2018. This is 4 years old, and
Yeah.
I'll be seeing him again in September down here in Atlanta.
Final time.
Final. Is it going to be
final,
a final farewell?
the final show is actually at Dodger Stadium in LA. So maybe
There you go.
maybe I'll call our old friend Matt and see if he wants to go along. We'll go to that one together.
Sure, he would love that.
I'm sure he would.
I wanted to know, what do you think about Daddy Yankee retiring from the music game?
Tough day.
It is a tough day.
Yeah,
He's a legend.
but they're like boxers. Musicians never really retire. They're always
Good to
coming
know.
back.
They'll be back.
Embrace the day, people.